Hello, how you doing? This is Gus Tucker with Financial Freedom Fridays. Hope you guys are doing well, and we're excited to be here with you today. We're going to have a great discussion about creating wealth, and we're going to slow it down a little bit today, and I really want to get feedback from you. So please put your comments in the Facebook chat, because this is meant to be a conversation, not a presentation. Our goal is to be your tour guide to create wealth, to create financial independence for you. This is a huge issue in America right now, not just in the Black community, but in every community. And these are some proven steps that have helped many people make that trip to financial independence. So I'm going to speed through kind of the recap and get to the conversation we want to have this week about creating wealth. Okay. So, the financial independence, as we've talked about, is having sufficient personal wealth to live without having to work actively for basic necessities. And I don't know how old you are, but as I get older, I sense myself slowing down, even if it's the least little bit. At least that's what I like to think. And I see people around me slowing down, and your ability to create income is going to change going forward. And also your desire to want to do things to make money and need to make money is going to change over time. So when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and if need be in your 50s and 60s, you got to build assets. You have to, or you get to keep working or not have the lifestyle that you want. Okay. So this time together is for people who want to create financial independence and they're willing to put the work in. Okay? Willing to put the work in. It's the state. What is financial independence? The state of having sufficient personal wealth to live without having to work actively for basic necessities. And we're going to, basically literacy is being competent at something, knowing the content and being able to apply it in your life. And so we want you to be financially literate. You've seen this several times, and I would really encourage more of you to take the How Money Works challenge and just kind of see where you're at. To send me an email at financialfreedomfridays@gmail.com, just so you know, you're not going to get put on the email list. No one is going to send you anything. Okay, your information is not going to be sold. The purpose of this is to get you information. What information? There's a free ebook I like to put in your hands. There's a checklist I like to put in your hands that has the areas you need to, that I believe, after 20 plus years of doing this, are areas you need really to have a point of view on, take a look at. And then if you desire, you can have our team do a free financial needs analysis for you to show you, to give you some specific guidance on how to reach your goals. This is an educational course. This is not meant to be financial advice. What we're doing is teaching some fundamentals that we should all learn early on in life that we don't get taught. Okay, so I'm not going to sell your information or put you on the email list or anything like that. Okay. Real quick, get this book, How Money Works, read it. Read it a couple times. The more you read it and you're impacted by the information, the more likely you are to take action. Okay? There's 7 money milestones. Start your financial education. Get a financial professional that you're working with. Develop a protection plan, an emergency fund plan, a plan to get out of debt, a plan to increase your cash flow, and then today a plan to accumulate wealth. And all these things build on one another. Okay? These are the financial milestones. So I'm going to hurry and get to build wealth. Okay. Here's the reality of our situation. One day there's going to come a day when either you don't want to work or you can't work. Okay. Or if you're a W-2 person, no one will hire you. If you're an entrepreneur, you just physically can't do it anymore, mentally can't do it anymore, don't want to do it anymore. Okay, at that point, when that happens, boom, you have to have enough assets to take care of yourself. If you don't have enough assets, what happens? Put it in the chat. This is a reality check. What happens? You know, I've had family members have to go live with other family members, or people have to move in with them to help them out. Any number of things. But what would happen if you didn't have the resources to take care of yourself, and you either didn't want to work anymore or you couldn't work anymore? What would happen to your lifestyle? And then the money that you have has to last as long as you do. Does that make sense? Um, Many of you are going to last into your 80s, maybe your 90s. And if we listen to the health advice that you get on blackdoctor.org, you can extend your life. In general, people have a concern about running out of money. Almost 65% of people, 63%, are more scared of running out of money than they are dying. If you die and your life is right, you know where you're going, so you're not freaked out. But if you don't have enough money, you don't know what might happen to you here on earth. You know what I'm saying? So more people are concerned about having enough money than dying. So that says something. Okay? So your money has to last in the future. Do you know how much you need by when and how long it's going to last? How much do I need by when, and then how am I going to make it last? Those are questions we have to answer. And we're to help you. We're here to help you answer them. Okay? Like this graphic says, whatever your stage of life, start building wealth now. If you wanted a tree that was going to give you shade this summer, you should have built it 20 years ago. What's the next that best day to build that tree? Well, today. It's today. So if you haven't started focusing on building wealth for yourself, start today. Okay? Now, there's 4 things we got to do to make wealth happen. Number 1 is save regularly by automating direct deposits. My wife and I have a certain amount of money every week come out of our accounts and get saved and invested. So we don't have to think about it. It happens automatically. How emotional is your computer? Huh? How emotional is your computer? It's not. You set it up to do something and it does it like clockwork. And that's a powerful system to have in place. That's a powerful system to have in place. So 4 disciplines to create wealth. 1, you got to save money. And you got to do it by direct deposit. Because the computer will just send the money. Number 2, don't touch your savings until you reach your goal. There's a big sign called no fishing around no savings. Okay, I remember I had a client one time call me from Hawaii that there was an emergency and they needed to talk to me. And I'm like, man, what happened? They wanted to buy a house over there. And it was a great price, and that was the emergency. I said, no, that doesn't raise to the level of a financial emergency. No, I wouldn't encourage you to buy that house. Also, you got to start reviewing your goals and your progress at least once a year. You can't reach a goal if you don't set it. And you also can't reach a goal unless you check in your course to make sure you're course correcting to get to your final destination. I know you guys have probably heard this before, but airplanes, when they take off, like I just came from Africa. I was in Lagos, Nigeria, and that plane took off from Atlanta. Atlanta's a long way from Lagos, Nigeria. And you know, most of that trip, that plane was off target because of wind and this and that and the other. They had to keep bringing it back. So we ended up where we need to be, because Hartsfield Airport and Murtala Airport are very specific places that you want to land. If you don't land there, when you get to Lagos, you're landing in basically the desert. So that's not a good deal. So you want to have a specific address for your retirement in your last days too. Okay. Okay. So we got to make adjustments to our life and our finances as time goes by. That's why you meet with your financial professional on a regular basis, because programs get upgraded and changed and your situation changes. So you just want to make sure you're continuing to do things the way you need to. Okay. Let me hurry up. Let me hurry up. 4 things will stop you from building wealth. The first one is procrastination. You just don't get started. Diets always start on Monday, and it's always next Monday. Why don't we start at the Monday we just left? So it starts today. Why is it always next Monday? So one is procrastination. How do you overcome procrastination? Just take action. Just decide you're going to take action. Number one is read How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. Read it twice. That'll fire you up. Even if your financial situation right now is not good, read the book anyway, because it will inspire you to figure out how to make more money. You can figure out how to do this, how to do that. Okay. Number two, schedule a meeting with a financial professional. You need a relationship with somebody who will be there for your accountability. Accountability is for the person who's asking for it. It isn't for the person you're talking to. They don't need accountability with you per se. Okay? So get a professional that you can be accountable to, who's in life where you want to be down the road. Okay? So schedule a meeting with the financial professional this week. I'll give you my phone number. If you want to schedule it with me, it's 312-352-0701. There, I said it. 312-352-0701. You want to schedule it. Set a goal and deadline for each one of the 7 money milestones. When are you going to protect your family? When are you going to get out of debt? When are you going to have an emergency fund? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Man, it sounds like I'm being nagging. No, I'm just reminding you. That you really need to take these into consideration. Number 4, work the milestones as a team. The goals you set, work on them as a team, because goals are always going to change. Well, the goals may not change, but the strategy to reach the goals is going to change. Goals usually doesn't change. It's that strategy that changes. Okay? So post your goals and deadlines in your home so you can see them. I've got a whole wall full of goals right here in front of me that I look at all the time. Okay? You got to keep your goals in front of you. We got to overcome inflation. You guys have seen the rise in energy prices and things like that. Inflation is the tax of time, because the cost of things go up over time. But income has not kept pace with inflation. If you have a W-2 job and you've had one for 20 or 30 years, your raises have not kept up with inflation. Why is that? Because the business owner can't afford it and be competitive in the marketplace too. So you got to put Rule of 72 to work for you, the law of compounding interest. But you also got to watch out for it working in reverse through things like credit cards and debt. Right? So that's why we got that get out of debt plan. So we maximize the things we're doing through this policy. So, yep. The impact of losses. One thing about seeking to grow your money and investing, no matter whether it's in the stock market or real estate or whatever, there's always an opportunity for you to lose money. That's what investing is. It's not a guarantee. So when you lose money, let's say you invested $10,000 and you lost 50% of it, you got $5,000. They say, "Well, I'm gonna get that money back. I'm gonna get that money back." What percentage increase do they have to gain to get the money back? Well, it's 100%. Even though it's a 50% loss, you can't get a 50% gain and get back there. So let's say you had $100 and you lost 50. Now I got $50. if I do get a 50% gains, they're going to get me back to 100. No, it's going to get you back to in the 70s, 75. To have 100, you would need to get it all back. You'd have to do 100% gain. Okay, so losing money costs you both time and money, right? So that's why we've got programs that have built-in stop gaps for losses where it won't allow you to lose money. Um, and you need to gain 100% to get back where you were. 3 strategies to protect against losses. 1, reduce the risk. Part of your portfolio should be in something that guarantees you don't lose money. Now, it's going to not guarantee you make a lot of money, but if you're in a position where you're looking to preserve money for retirement, trying to make more money is not your objective. How do I get what I call mailbox money? Get regular return year after year after year after year. The bank will tell you get a CD or something like that. But there are reasons why not to do that. And taxes and low rates of return are 2 of them. Okay? Diversify your portfolio. Don't have everything in industries that kind of run together. The lumber industry, companies like Boise Cascade, and then Home Depot, and then you got a housing crisis. Okay? So you got to choose investments where you diversify. Well, how do I know what's diversified? I encourage you to enroll in courses that are around. That's awesome, Maureen. You're going to see some numbers coming up. That's awesome. Um, when you diversify your portfolio, and I encourage you to diversify your portfolio out of the stock market. Own real estate, own precious metals, own other things that aren't even in the stock market. So you really diversify yourself. Okay, and then utilize financial vehicles. Get with a financial professional and learn the latest and greatest of what's on the market. It's always changing. Month to month, year to year is changing. That everything you do, let me make sure I get on the slide. Everything you do, make sure you understand the taxes of it. If this thing works and I'm able to retire on this vehicle, what does that mean for me tax wise? If I lose money, do I still owe the government something and I lost money? What if I'm tax agnostic or I don't really care about taxes because I've got a passion with the powers that be that I don't have to do that. I don't have to pay these taxes. Okay? So when you look at your strategy for retiring, you got to look at the tax strategy. When you look at the investment, you got to look at the tax strategy. How's it going to act in retirement? What am I going to have to pay to the government? If I leave it to the next generation, how does it treat it from a tax perspective? Those things have to be built in to those financial vehicles and how they work. Does that make sense? So there's tax now, tax later, tax never. When we talked about the seed is the money you're investing. If you get taxed on the seed, let's say you put $10,000 away, you're getting taxed on that. But let's say at $10,000 at age 29, that's your seed. You didn't put another dollar into it, you got a 9% return. At 65, you have $250,000. Would you rather have paid tax on $10,000 or tax on $250,000? Obviously, the $10,000. Well, what kind of vehicles do that? That's why you sit down with a financial professional to point you to the right ones. So 3 ways you can be taxed. Tax now, get it out the way, and tax later. Tax now and not get taxed later. Don't get taxed now and don't get taxed later. Which one do you like? We'll get you in the right one that minimizes your taxes, okay? And we want to pay tax on the seed, not the harvest. How tax various accounts, taxable accounts like CDs, bank accounts, they're taxed as the money is growing, they tax them and take it out. Qualified retirement plans. Any kind of qualified plan means you get a tax break today, but when you hit 59 and a half, you're going to have to pay the regular, and you use the money, you have to pay regular income tax. So you get a reprieve for a little while. Then you have just outright um, investing, okay, which could be through an annuity or in other ways where you invest in the market. There are annuities that are invested in the market, and there are annuities that are not invested in the market. So you need to learn which one of those solutions would be best for you and how they're treated from a tax perspective. Okay? So either tax now, tax later, tax never. These are some of the vehicles, bonds, IRAs, permanent life insurance. You can look up and see how they're taxed. You can look it up on Google. But I'd encourage you to talk to a financial professional and look up these things. Well, I thought municipal bonds were tax free. Well, depends on where you buy the bonds and where you live. It makes a difference in terms of the tax implications. Also, Roth IRAs. You don't get taxed now, you get taxed in the future. I'd encourage you to take a hard look at that and do that. The other thing is permanent life insurance. The reason permanent life insurance is so popular, it's structured for you to be able to save money at it, have a downside loss, a stop loss measure right in the policy. In the policy has done double digits this last year. Most policies like that have. So how would you like to be able to get those kind of returns? Have a floor where you're not going to lose money and then not be taxed on the money when you take it out, and have the ability to take it out before 59 and a half. So that's a great tool. You say everybody has a plan to get punched in the mouth. Yeah, everybody's got a plan about how they're going to knock the other guy out till the other guy hits them, then the plan goes out the window. But we encourage you to work with your financial professional and put together a plan and stay steady on the plan and review it every year to make sure you're doing the right things at the right time, okay? In a recent Gallup survey, 85% of non-retired Americans strongly agreed that having a guaranteed income stream in retirement to supplement Social Security is critical. This money needs to keep coming while we're on Social Security so we can live. And my wife and I are excited because we have money coming from multiple places, okay? 3 components of reliable retirement income. One, it's got to grow, because if it doesn't grow, you're going to get eat up by inflation and it's not doing its job. It's got to provide a certain amount of growth. At the same time, you want to try to take risk out of that portfolio by having things that protect you on the downside. And the third thing, there are just things that families do together. You need a predictable income that lasts. It's got to happen, okay? So 1 is the tax piece. 2, the potential of losses and losing money. So therefore, you want to research a great stock exchange, stock market. And then the next thing is create a predictable income that lasts. Okay, and what does that are the indices in the way the program is structured. That's why you want to meet with a financial professional to structure your program correctly. It's not something you want to be going to do on yourself. So maintain your growth potential, reduce or remove the potential for loss, which we do on certain of our policies, and then create a predictable game that lasts, which we wanted to do with Alpha. And we'll do it with more people should we need to. Creating wealth for generations. Okay. Get to the next slide. Are you building wealth for retirement? Okay. See that black box at the bottom? How many streams of income do you have? These are the 3 that people typically have. What do you have outside of that? 1, predictable income from your government benefit program, which is basically Social Security. Okay? Then you have a reliable income coming in from savings. How much money do you have saved that can generate you an income when you're retired? And then personal retirement savings that are investment. How much you got there to retire, to meet those needs for financial independence? So now is the time to begin seriously looking at these other streams of income. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So getting wealthy is a discipline. You want to get started, be consistent, periodically review your plan with your financial professional for performance to see if there's anything you need to adjust and make changes and make progress to your goals. Okay. You got to make the numbers work for you. Okay. One of the first things that we started on this, did you finish your zero-based budget? Here's where it comes in handy. You got to make the numbers work for you. At the end of the month, you got to have money left over so you can save and invest. So let me ask you a question. What bills are you sure to pay every month? You can put them in Facebook, put them in the chat. What bills are you sure to pay every month? I know there's some that you'll pay that one and leave that one unpaid and just take your chances. What do you always pay? Make the numbers work for you. Mortgage, rent, cell phone, food, we pay them all the time. Which one do we leave off? What's the most important bill to pay to create wealth? It's on the next slide. But I want you to think about that. We're going to pay our mortgage and our rent, right? Because we don't want to get thrown out. Utilities. Nope. We pay our cell phone bill because, man, we don't want that bad boy to get turned off. Utilities. We don't want that. We don't want the gas and electric to get paid off. Food, we got to eat. Rent, utilities, and insurance. Nah, it's not that. I'm going to give one more person a shot. Let me give one more person a shot. One more person a shot. Oh, one more. That's why you want to take that financial literacy quiz. I ain't mad at you. Come on now. One more. Oh, bam. Sherry Moody Morris. The winner. Saving and investing is the number one bill you got to pay. What? Yeah, man. What's saving? Any money you're going to use in 5 years or less. At least 10% of your gross income needs to go into that account. I heard somebody talking about an emergency fund. They're putting away 15%. Great. But at the same time, you got to be investing. That's stuff you're going to use more than 5 years out. That's 10% as well, with the wealth goal of 30%. The wealthy save 30% of their income or more. That's where you want to be headed. Okay? That's where you want to be headed. Why is that? Check this out. The impact of time and compound interest. How many years have you worked? Write that down. How many years have you worked? Okay, you got that? What's your average income been? Gross income. Average gross income that you made over those working years. You multiply those two numbers, you'll get a number. So you're going to say, how many years have you worked? Your average gross income. We're going to take 10% of that number. Take 10% of that number, right? So let's say you made $35,000 income for 25 years. And we took 10% off the top and we invested it and got 8%. You'd have 278 grand. Now, I know that most of you made at least 35 grand over your working life. The question is, do you got the 278 right now or more? Okay? We got to start paying ourselves first, guys. We got to. Okay, we got to. The savings rates are too low. They're well below 10% of American saving. We got to do better. Okay, start late, finish rich. Gus, I messed up. I've done everything wrong. I'm starting late. What do I do? Here's what you got to do. Streamline your expenses and increase your savings. You may not have a lot of time to retirement or getting older, but you got to do the best you can. Next is create additional income streams. How? Rental property. You know, one of my children sent me an email and a text, and when I saw it right away. I said, "Yep, Airbnb. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do an Airbnb with this. because they own a investment property that they live in, and they're looking at maybe buying another property to start an Airbnb franchise for themselves. Get a number of those going. So how can you use real estate to help you? How can you use being an entrepreneur, starting a business? Do you know how to start and run a business and grow it? If not, you can go to school for that. There are all kind of courses around and all kind of places that you can take to learn that stuff. Investing strategies. Man, we got to invest money. Traditional things like, stocks, bonds, through mutual funds, all that kind of stuff. But then they got the new sexy stuff that people are doing. Cryptocurrency, NFTs. All I'm saying is you should understand these investment vehicles and choose the ones that are going to help you reach your plan. And work with somebody so that you get a plan that makes sense for you. Okay? Then you want to set your financial goals and the time frames. How much do I need when I retire? By when? By when? What date? How much? By when? And where is it going to come from? That's the game plan that we need to put together. How much do we need? By when? And where's it going to come from? So what do I suggest you do? One, take that financial literacy challenge, kind of see where you're at. Get your free ebook. It's going to help you put your financial strategies together. If you work with one of our teammates, we'll help you do it. But somebody's going to need to have the data to help you put together that strategy. Get a free ebook. It's not How Money Works. It's another ebook. It's called Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance. I think everybody ought to read it. And then email me at that email and get the financial needs roadmap, get the checklist, and get started building your wealth today. Does that make sense? That you would do that, and it starts with paying yourself first. We have to do that. They say the eagle flies on Friday. You got paid today, take 10% off the rip, off the top, and save it. And I'd encourage you to take 10% off the top and give it away to your church or some needy people. And watch things begin to multiply and work for you. And we're going to go through one more milestone. Then we're going to go through some lifelong principles about money that you have to adhere to. And then we're really going to focus on walking back through all this information, but with a focus on you putting your plan together. So it's more of a workshop where you're getting an outcome and not just information, okay? So, hey, guys, it was great chatting with you guys today. That's all I got for you. We'll cover step 7 next week. And you guys, which is about having wills and trusts in your estate plan in place. And you're going to learn some interesting stuff about that. Okay, guys, take care now.